You are listening to The Mismatch presented by FanDuel. FanDuel has made it easier than ever to see how your bets are doing without even opening the app. Because now you can get the latest updates and follow along in real time directly from your phone's lock screen or Apple Watch. No login required. Just head to your My Bets page to turn it on. And if you don't already have it, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today to get in on the action. The Ringer is committed to responsible gambling. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available. And listen to the end of the episode for additional details. Remember, you must be 21 or over and present in select states. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Welcome to The Mismatch. I'm Chris Vernon, and joining me as he does every week from TheRinger.com is Dave Jacoby. Jacoby!
Listen, if we're going to stay up late and record after the games, at least we get a game like that. What a game in the Bay.
We just got done watching the Warriors take now a commanding 3-1 lead over the Houston Rockets, winning 109-106. Fred VanVleet misses a three at the buzzer. One of the very few threes he missed the entire night because they got a hero performance out of VanVleet. But as we know, you will see the graphics that come up on the screen every time this happens. We just saw it happen in the Timberwolves versus the Lakers series. When teams go up 3-1, it's like 96% of the time they go on to win the series. So now Houston is going to find themselves really up against it to be able to come back in this series. And Jacoby, they had their chances tonight. They even had a chance right down at the very end of the game, had a chance to get a game winner. Draymond gets the stop on Şengün. And then at that point, honestly, with the last possession of the game, I thought go early and crash that offensive glass, because between Adams and Thompson and everybody else, you're going to get a second crack at this. Warriors tried to go big. They put Looney in there to try to wrestle with Steven Adams, but that's the moment, and the ball does come off the rim. Şengün misses it, and Jimmy Butler, the hobbled one, who Dillon Brooks should have just left alone, skies over everyone and snatches the rebound, goes down, it gets fouled, goes down to the other end, knocks down the free throws. Now you've got the 3-point margin. First half, it looked like Jimmy Butler was a shell of himself and not really that into it. And I can't remember who mentioned it at halftime. It said, little Grant Williams-y from last year, getting, when Jimmy Butler started yelling at the guy, and you had that moment towards the end of the first half where Jimmy Butler is yelling at Dillon Brooks. And trust me, I covered Dillon Brooks the first 6 years of his career. I'm sitting there going, don't do this, don't do this, right? Sometimes you got to let sleeping dogs lie, brother, and there it was. And Jimmy Butler showed up huge in that second half, and man, oh man, what a game. I mean, what do you think? It's, obviously, look, it's so fresh. It just ended, but what consumes your thoughts when you think about what we just watched?
A couple things. From the Warriors side, as the winners, we'll start with them. It was very clear that the Houston Rockets were not going to allow Steph Curry to beat them again as he did in Game 3. Right. The Warriors were loaded up on Steph Curry, and they said someone else beat us, and Podziemski was that guy. It was, and Chavano hit some big threes. Podziemski hit some big threes. Jimmy Butler had a huge second half. They took away Steph Curry, and the Warriors, and I'm pretty surprised about this. The other Warriors won the game for them. This was not a big Steph Curry game. He actually missed a huge shot at the end of the game. And the same thing that we've all said all season long about the Houston Rockets is, who is their go-to scorer? Who is their guy when you need a bucket? And in this game, it was Şengün, who had an amazing second half. He played great. But like a turnaround, jump hook from 17 feet. Dude, like,
I mean,
it's one thing to take a jump hook. He's been taking jump hooks his entire career from 7 feet, 8 feet. Those go in. But from 17, like, that was a bad shot in that spot.
And there's no question that, you wanted it to be a guy that had been scoring or had scored for you earlier in the series in Jalen Green. And man, oh man, he's not even on the court. He's not even on the court anymore. You could see Ime Udoka just fuming at some of the mistakes that he made, obviously defensively, most importantly. But on the Şengün front, that was just aided incredibly by the Draymond Green foul trouble. I mean, I got it. I understand people resent Draymond Green. It got feisty in that first half when he got the flagrant, but he didn't get thrown out of the game after he got into the tussle with Tari Eason. But if we just evaluate, and sometimes it's not always going to show up in the box score, but there's no way you couldn't watch that game and you see he was locking up Şengün, and then he got in the foul trouble, and he just was not able to compete tonight. I mean, he ended up getting 30 minutes in the game, but the job he's able to do on Şengün versus literally anybody else on their team, and that too big thing for Houston was a massive problem for Golden State. It will be instructive to think about regarding going forward if they play against it. It would be better for them probably to play the Warriors from that point of view rather than Minnesota, because Minnesota is going to make them look small too. But you have that double big lineup, and you could see in the absence of Draymond, like, Kerr's just trying to figure out what to do with it. Like, all right, I guess I'll try Quentin Post. Like, he dusted off Trace Jackson Davis for a little bit to try to get some minutes with it. And what an unbelievable strategy moment that takes place in these games where the whole game flipped when Adams came in. I mean, Adams, I got to go look at his plus minus, but it's got to be severe. It's
they go to hack at Adams. Here's my question.
Plus 16 for the game. Plus 16 in a 3-point game.
They go to hack at Adams, and then Ime takes him out of the game. I want to see him take a couple free throws. He was just 1 for 2 from the line when he had a chance, like 30 seconds earlier. I want to see him stay in the game and see if he can make 2. Just see if he can take them out of it, because I feel like Ime just surrendered. He surrendered Adams' minutes until the final 2 minutes when you can't foul, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I thought that was I wanted to see Adams stay in the game. He was that effective.
Oh, my God. And defensively,
in the blocks.
I mean, you had Jimmy Butler try to go to the basket. Draymond tried to go to the basket. Trace Jackson Davis tried to go to the basket. Quentin Post tried to cock one. Like, you had all of these blocks, and just even when he wasn't blocking shots, he was wreaking havoc in front of the basket. And then every time the Rockets would miss a shot, it just takes 3 guys to try to keep him off the offensive glass. I mean, his impact was so huge. And then, of course, they went to the hack Adams thing, and they had to pull him out of the game. And again, that's something that you can wonder if Ime Udoka should have done that differently, because in many cases you felt like the best chance they have they just have a real problem scoring against any time the Warriors can set up their defense. Yep. In that first half, a third of their points basically were off of turnovers. Like, these are just pick sixes in many of the cases. I mean, I think they said at halftime, this was like the game was in the low 50s, and I remember them saying they had 17 points off turnovers in the first half. I'm like, damn, man. So if you got a third of your points off of that, and then you're catching the offensive rebounds on the other side, like, that was the way that they were going to be able to stay mega competitive, is to play the possession game against the Warriors. But look, it's a strategy thing that they decided to go one way with, and I guess when you lose, you could say you should have done it differently.
Sure.
But it came down to a shot, right? Like, I mean, that's the moment you've got to get a bucket. You didn't get a bucket.
The Rockets half court offense is just very disappointing. Like, they were after a timeout, like a full break in the action. They had 4 minutes to set up a play, and it ends up being a Jabari Smith contested 27-foot three. I don't know how they end up with that. And then the next possession, it's literally Van Vliet dribbling around for 22 seconds. Just no one's setting him a pick. No one's setting off-ball screens. There's no movement. It's just him at the top of the key dribbling around, and then he gets blocked by Pods from behind. And then the next possession is just a turnover. Like, it's just they cannot score in the half court. They can't do it.
Well, because they're out there with guys that don't have to be honored as shooters. You know, Van Vliet shot the cover off the ball tonight, but he had been going into this game literally the worst shooter in the playoffs thus far. And so he showed up in a big, big way. But, you know, nobody's worried about Dylan Brooks standing out there. Nobody's worried about Thompson standing out there. Obviously, if you're playing Adams in there, that's another non. And so you're really counting on Fred or Şengün to get that thing going. And that's what makes the unplayableness of Jalen Green be a bridge too far, because it's like you need this guy to be the guy that can beat somebody off the dribble just so you can start to break down the defense and whip that thing around and maybe get some easy buckets. You had some crazy drives by Amen Thompson in that early fourth where, I mean, he's just hanging in the air.
He looked good for a while.
Yeah, right. But it's just, you know, you're not going to be able to space them out in a big way because they're not terribly worried about you shooting the ball. And then you don't have that many guys that are going to beat you off the dribble either. So it makes it really hard. Still hung tough, got the Warriors in a gutter war. And as you mentioned, did an unbelievable job on target number one, which was Curry.
Yep.
And this speaks exactly to why the Butler thing has been so immense. So, okay, you did a great job on Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler had 27, 6, and 5.
And I think, how many did he have in the first half? Like 6? Like he didn't even,
maybe.
It was barely, I didn't even notice him on the floor in the first half. In the second half,
I told you, Dylan Brooks should have left that man alone.
For real. And listen, I'm going to take it too far. Do you mind if I take it too far, Chris Vernon?
Yeah.
It's so obvious that the Rockets need a star. They need a go-to. They need a KD. They need a Giannis. They need to go big game hunting this offseason. It's right there. They've got tons of young players. They've got draft assets. They need to go big game hunting this offseason. And I'm sure we'll talk about Orlando later, but it's so obvious Orlando needs someone who can put the ball in the basket from beyond the arc. Like they have glaring needs of these two young teams that are just right there in front of your face. Because that Şengün 17-foot jump hook was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Well, and as you know, they have the assets to pull this off in between, you know, draft capital, young players. I mean, they have the third pick in the draft from last year that doesn't play. Right. So, I mean, they've got they've got a abundance of things that they could put together in a deal to attain whatever they wanted to attain. But look, this is one of those where it's like first time through. I've told you, I've lived this so many times. You know, Memphis was the 2 seed 2 years in a row. Playing against teams like this, you play against these veteran teams, and then you're sitting there and you're going back afterwards, and you're thinking about all the ways it could have been different, all the things you could have done different, all the, you know, oh, this guy didn't play well, this guy didn't play well, this guy. But I mean, this is what happens when we get to the playoffs, right? And you've got these guys, these steady hands, and it's like it's going to come down to, in many cases, 2 or 3 like winning plays. And Draymond got the stop. Jimmy got the rebound. Jimmy knocked down the free throws.
He knocked down. I mean, look,
trust me, I've been through this so many times. Because you're going to sit there. You're also going to go, if we just would have made our free throws.
Oh, they played well enough to win.
Just would have done this.
They missed like 12 free throws.
I know.
The Rockets played well enough to win. They played well enough to win that game. I think this should be a 2-2 series, but I thought that Dylan Brooks, man, like, just putting your hand on a jump shooter's midsection is just, it's not going to change anything.
At the end of a shot clock,
no one's going to miss. No one's going to miss because of that.
At the end of the shot clock, no less.
Yeah, and Şengün with the same thing at the end of the shot clock going for that Curry up fake.
No, that's a losing play versus the winning plays, right?
Exactly.
These things
Those
are going
mistakes
to come down to, and the vet teams and the guys that have the experience, they're going to make the winning plays. The goofies, the young guys, they're going to make the losing plays. And it happens over and over and over again. You've seen it in the Knicks Pistons series, which we will get to. Same kind of deal. It's like this stuff, the margins are so thin. They're so thin. And so, and in many of these cases, you see the same thing happening. So that was the game that happened tonight. Obviously, the Warriors are totally in the driver's seat now after winning that. That's not to say that they won't have to do it back home in a game 6, because I think that's totally plausible.
Oh, yeah.
Totally plausible.
I mean, like the Rockets played well enough to win this game. It could easily be 2-2. And, going back to Houston, they did a really good job on Curry, and they caused a lot of problems for the Warriors offense.
And this is and it's not right. 3-1 is not indicative of the competition level, right? The game count is not the indicative of the competition level. What was indicative of the competition level, and big shout out to the Miami Heat for getting my beloved Grizzlies off the hook, because now they are no longer the most disgusting first-round performance that has taken place.
The Grizzlies look great.
I didn't think someone was going to lose by more than 51, but off the hook, courtesy of the Miami Heat, who ended up losing their series. And the difference between the two series is at least the Grizzlies competed in games 3 and 4. It just got progressively worse for Miami, who ended up losing, I read tonight, by 122 points in the 4 games, making it the most lopsided series in NBA history.
What's that, 30.5 a game? Jesus.
Did you see the Bam Adebayo quotes afterwards when they were asking about changes in the offseason? And
what did he say?
I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like, yeah, if you know that guy with the silver hair, everybody better be on watch. Talking about Pat Riley. Like, yeah, this is not going to be okay. This is for sure not going to be okay. So the whole league is sitting there going, hey, if we want any Heat players, they're going to be available, because he's not. He's not even going to want to look at these people anymore.
Tyler Hero had such a good season. I loved Tyler Hero's regular season, and he played really well in the playing games. But to finish 1 for 10 with 4 points,
dude,
in a closeout game, after game 3, he was like, "Yeah, we're not going to go out 0-4. Like, no, it's not going to happen."
And Darius Garland had called him out personally and said the goal is to attack Tyler Hero. Yeah, that's a tough way to go out. That was not Heat culture.
No. And I don't really know what they do this offseason. They're always in rumors because they're Miami, but right. I don't know, building around Bam and Tyler is the plan, but I don't know. That seems to have a low ceiling.
I mean, this has got to be the absolute worst all around. First, your team gets beat by 1,000. And then you got to watch Jimmy Butler have 27, 6, and 5 and say, I got my joy back after the game. It's like, oh, God.
Well, they didn't. The thing is, they didn't lose Jimmy Butler in free agency.
Right.
Like, they traded for him, and Andrew Wiggins hasn't done anything in a Heat uniform. You watch the games, it's like he's not even there.
I know. Unbelievable. So those games have those were the ones that we had tonight. We had the first one, honestly, it was background noise.
Insane.
Like from basically.
It was like 65-25.
Yeah.
By like 8:30 Eastern.
And I guess, one of the questions that I know you wanted to talk about was how much does it make it a hard Cleveland evaluation? I mean, this Heat team was like a 37 win. I mean, so they were not good, right? They were like a 37 win team this year. But the pummeling that just took place by Cleveland, where Cleveland literally just stole their soul. It's how much of it is Cleveland is an absolute juggernaut, and how much of it is that's a disgrace. What we just watched with Miami. How are we doing the ledger here?
The jury is still out on Cleveland. I think they're going to face the Pacers most likely. I mean, without Dame, the Bucks, I don't give them much of a shot to come back and win 3 straight. So that's when we'll really evaluate Cleveland. This to me is more of a disappointing performance from the Heat than it is impressive from the Cavs.
I think I agree with you. The Cavs are great, but I think we're going to have a dogfight with them in Indiana. That's what I'd guess. We're going to get a long series, a 6 or 7, with them in Indiana. Now, if they go out and pummel Indiana and take care of them in 4 or 5, then we're having a different conversation, obviously. But I think we watch both those teams, and part of watching tonight was, yes, the Cleveland's fantastic, but what the hell is this? Like this Miami thing. This is not a playoff caliber team. This is recklessness. I mean, this is crazy.
No, and I think that both Cleveland and the Pacers are firing on all cylinders right now. I think that's going to be a really good series because you watch these Pacers games, like it's not just Halliburton. It's Nembhard, it's Nesmith, it's Toppin, it's like Turner. Like everybody's contributing in the same way with the Cavs. The Cavs are so deep. Like they're like garbage time lineups.
I know.
Pretty good.
Well, and they were up by like 40, and Ty Jerome was still hitting.
Yeah,
Ty Jerome was still hitting threes. I was
game.
like, oh my God, this guy's kicking the dead body. This is crazy. Well, let's just touch on the Pacers real quick because they are in their series. That Milwaukee series is still going on, but there is a massive cloud that now hovers over Milwaukee whenever it ends, right, for them. This year, the news on Lillard, which, as you know, one of my favorites. I mean, I absolutely love Damian. I love small guards. I love the Dame time thing. He's been one of my favorite players to watch over the course of the last decade. He's had those unbelievable playoff moments in Portland, and I lamented the fact that the chemistry never worked with Giannis. It just never took. It never became what I wanted it to become. And now it never will, right? Because he's got this Achilles injury at his age with his contract. And for all the discussions that have been had about Giannis in years past, it's something that, he's 34. Brooke is 37. They really don't, they've got limited draft picks. They don't really have any up and coming players. They don't have cap room. It's like
I'm gone. If I'm Giannis, I'm gone.
Yeah,
like, why are we beating around the bush? If I'm Giannis, I'm gone. I am not playing on the Bucks next year if I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I just think that that's something that we all need to stop asking as a question and start figuring out where he will play next year, because you mapped it out. They don't have up and coming players. They're going to develop and make a leap. They're not going to contend without Dame. Dame's not going to come back and be Dame at 39 off of an Achilles. And if you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, you have to say, Milwaukee, I love you. I love this franchise. We won a championship. We put a banner up there. But please send me to another team that I can contend for a championship with.
Boy, I tell you this, my boy John Horst, what a deal getting an extension as the GM there last week.
Oh yeah,
because now you got some safety body. I don't know.
Well, he's got some work to do.
You were. It was a long running joke with me and Kevin back in the day. When every time John Horst comes up, that's my best friend John Horst, because years ago, my one of my beloved friends from way back, Sonny Vaccaro, the godfather of grassroots basketball, we're at the All-Star game, and I go and I meet him and his wife Pam down in the hotel lobby. I'm sitting there, and everybody comes up, and they, I watch all these NBA executives and NBA people and players and whoever. They come and they kiss the ring, They come, the Godfather's there, right? So I'm sitting there, and me and this other guy are just sitting there talking, like we're talking about basketball, life, everything, right? Young guy who's sitting with me. And finally, after like 5-10 minutes, I'm like, I'm like, so John, what do you do? And he's like, I'm the GM of the Bucks. And I was like, what?
Oh.
and it dawned on me, I have no idea at that time, I had no idea who the GM of the Bucks was. And I had just been sitting there talking to this guy for like 10 or 15 minutes. And he tells me I felt so dumb. Oh, I felt so dumb. But anyway, every time something happens with John Horst, somebody will hit me up on Twitter. They'll be like, hey, your guy. And so this guy, last week I saw somebody tagged me that he had signed an extension. I guess Phoenix or I know, who was it? There's one of these teams that's fired their guys that I guess had talked to him or thought about hiring him. So then he got a new contract from his own team. But I say that to say, whenever that happens, you are less inclined to feel like you have to win tomorrow, right? You might be more confident in, okay, if this is what it is and we have to do the rebuild, at least I'm secure, right? I'm going to get to do this on my terms because look, that series is not over. I don't want to bury them completely, but
it's over.
I mean, but it's not technically over. I got it.
It's over.
It
is over. By the time we do another show, the series will be over.
That Pacers team is fun. All these teams are doing this 95 to 96 thing, and those bastards are still flying. Like you feel like you got to get 125.
So, Verno, I need you to help me out with something. Help me out with this, Verno.
Let me hear it.
Why do I dislike Tyrese Halliburton so much?
Because he's corny.
I can't figure it out.
No, that's why.
Why do I dislike him so much? And I'm not alone because you saw the thing that came out where, the players voted him as the most overrated player. It's got this Rudy Gobert thing where it's like Rudy Gobert has never done anything to me, but so many other people hate Rudy Gobert that it's sort of like contagious. I can't stand Tyrese Halliburton. I can't stand him.
Yeah.
I hate him, and I don't know why. I don't know. It's unfair how much I dislike him.
I don't think it. I mean, I get it, especially as a Knicks fan.
He had 15 assists in the last game. I love passing.
Right? Yeah, maybe so. Did you hate Reggie Miller as well? You hated Reggie Miller, right?
No, I didn't hate Reggie Miller.
Oh, I hated his ass tonight. If that bastard said Shane Goon one more time, I was going to throw something through my TV. They're the 2 seed. He's the best player on the team. And the guy sitting next to you is saying his name correctly 1,000 times.
I just never said his name with 100% confidence.
Shengun.
Shengun.
He says Shane-Goon every time. And I'm like, shut up. Ugh.
You know what this Bucks thing made me think about? And the impending Giannis trade, which I believe will happen this offseason, made me think about is, do you remember that report that Nico Harrison called your buddy John Horst?
Oh, he did.
Remember? He called John Horst. Let's not forget that. John Horst said, nope, no chance.
Oh,
we don't want Luka.
Yeah.
Our guy's untouchable. And now he's going to be shopping him this offseason.
It'd be noble if Giannis stuck through it.
Noble?
It would be.
I would be disappointed. Wouldn't you be disappointed?
I just like, this is where I want to be.
I don't know. But that series is over. Let's talk about Lakers. Let's talk about Lakers Wolves. You want to talk about Lakers Wolves?
So that's
or Clippers
3-1.
Nuggets?
All right. So I'll say this. You need to apologize to Anthony Edwards.
I need to apologize to Julius Randle.
I think you need to apologize to the entire Timberwolves franchise.
Honestly, I think that the biggest takeaway is Anthony Edwards, but I thought Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels have been just so good. So good. Of course, Anthony Edwards has 43 points and big baskets and whatever, but I just think that Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels have been so good on both ends of the floor.
I'll tell you this, man. Speaking of GMs, A-Rod and that crew better figure out how to keep that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Conley. Because even when we've thought he's made goofy-ass decisions, they are, right now, very possibly about to be in a Western Conference Finals again, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
You just watch this game, and the idea that the Wolves could not beat either the Warriors or the Rockets is not far-fetched at all. And again, they're not done with the Lakers, but they are in real pole position right now. And between their coach and the personnel decisions that have seemingly worked out, because when you can perform at this high level when it comes to playoff basketball, there's no other option except it's worked out. And Edwards is now evolving. You know, you've got
dude. Sunday afternoon, 1:00 is the Knicks Pistons game, and you see Karl Anthony Towns hit a shot from behind the backboard, and then hit a ridiculous 28-foot three, and it's like Karl Anthony Towns got us that win.
Yep.
And then the next game is the Wolves Lakers, and it's Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. And I'm sitting there being like, is it possible that both teams improved via this trade?
And it was real, and certainly it was more about salary when it came to Minnesota making that deal. It was more about salary, but at least in round one against a very high level opponent, it has worked out in spades. I mentioned with Edwards, Coach Finch compared Edwards after the game, and I thought this was really smart. He said he's like a home run hitter that has now learned that situationally singles and doubles are good. You know what I mean? Like and that is the evolution of the player, because he doesn't have there's no hero ball down the stretch. You know, he scored those buckets early in the fourth, right? And then he hit the free throws late, but kind of in between, he was letting the game be the game. And you've seen his evolution even as this series has gone on. On the other side, you have no subs after halftime for the Lakers. They wrote it out. Tracking on this goes back to 1997. They say that's never happened, where 5 guys have just played the entire half. And they made 5 of their last 18 shots and got out-rebounded 13-9 and had 2 big turnovers. And it's hard to say that was not, fatigue set in on that team in the fourth quarter in a big way. I mean, they're missing everything. They're not, they're getting out hustled to this stuff. And in the fourth quarters, the Timberwolves have absolutely owned the fourth quarters. How about this one, Jacoby? You ready for this?
Yep.
105-69. And the Lakers have shot over 30% once in fourth quarter.
Over 30%?
In the fourth quarter, yes. 105-69.
I mean,
in the fourth quarter so far.
Doncic was 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter.
LeBron took 2 shots at 0 points.
Didn't do anything in the fourth quarter.
No, 105-69 is the fourth quarters. Like, it's hard to say that is not a thing that is happening here, right? As the game goes on, you have seen Minnesota be able to be stronger, and the Lakers have wilted in fourth quarters. And now they're in that spot where it's like 3-1, 96% of the time, the team that's up 3-1 wins. And, I guess as that ended and they got that win this weekend, you think back, I mean, they smacked Phoenix around in the first round, and then they had that unbelievable Game 7 win at Denver. But on the other side, like, bro, if Minnesota closes this thing out, that's going to be 2 years in a row that the Lakers have lost in the first round in 5 games. Because they lost in 5 to Denver last year to start this thing off. And so they will have lost in 5 games in the first round 2 years in a row. And that doesn't fly. That's for sure. So, I'm not saying, look, I'd imagine that we'll probably see a Game 6. I'd imagine that we'll probably see a Game 6, and that the Lakers are not going to, psychologically, there's breathing room for the Wolves that does not exist for the Lakers. So you'd expect a team with that level of talent back against the wall after a few days off will be able to rally up a big effort. And so I'd imagine we'll get a game 6, but geez, man.
How do I explain it? The Lakers fooled me into thinking they were contenders because of their defense after the Luka trade.
Right.
You remember that run where they had really good defense for like 3 straight weeks? Maybe it was scheduling or whatever it was, but their improvement on defense tricked me into thinking they were contenders. But in this series, they can't get stops.
Well, it's because you can because what happens on a game in, game out basis in the regular season, your warts don't come to light. Mm-hmm. And as soon as somebody just starts game playing, I mean, you want a career high, just get the switch onto Luka. I mean, these guys are cooking him, bro. McDaniels cooking him, and Randall's cooking him, and it's like, dude, he's such an outstanding offensive player, but he is truly a target on defense. And Nico Harrison had to have just, I bet he pulled his pants off in the second half.
I think that I got fooled into thinking they were contenders because of that defense, but I think that when you really look at it objectively, that's just not a winning roster. They don't have rim protection or a lob threat.
Well, they have five guys that JJ Redick will play.
I would play Jackson Hayes more. I don't know why Jackson Hayes is not on the floor more than he is. He starts the game and then he comes out and he just goes away.
I think if you ask JJ Redick, he would tell you it's because he stinks.
That's fair. But Luka can make you good. And also he can just like rim protect, rebound, lob threat.
Anything. Truly,
they need that. It does feel like we got Luka this year. We're going to make some tweaks to the roster in the offseason and really make a run next year. That's what it feels like for the Lakers. If you're a Laker fan.
Yeah, that's not what you signed up for.
We lucked into Luka. Luka fell on our doorstep.
I got it, but you lost Anthony Davis too. Like the expectation for a Laker season is never to. That will be 2 years in a row you've lost in the first round of the playoffs. You've got LeBron James on your team. What?
I could see. What? I don't think the Rockets are coming back. I don't think the Magic are coming back. I don't think the Pistons are coming back. But I could see this Lakers team winning a couple.
All right,
7. I can see it.
Okay.
I can see it. Of all the 3-1 series,
you're not letting go.
I can see this one. Yeah. You got Luka, you got LeBron. Look, it's also worth saying that Luka was sick in game 3. Like, he just wasn't himself. The Mismatch is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are finally here. And if you think you know how it's all going to go down, then make those predictions pay off with FanDuel and their same game parlay profit boosts. Just build your perfect parlay, activate the boost, lock in your bet. If it hits, that's a bigger payout for you at no extra cost. I'm looking at Tuesday night's games. Of course, I think the Knicks are going to close out the Pistons. And I think that Karl Anthony Towns is going to go over points. I think that Brunson's is going to go over points. I think the Knicks are going to lay it on the Pistons. However, if you don't want to go down that road, I also think that the Clippers are going to dominate the Nuggets. And I think Kawhi's going to have a big night. And I think Norm Powell, who started this series pretty quiet, is going to have a big night as well. So what you can do is put those together as a parlay and get your same game parlay profit boost. Sound good? Well, you can score an even bigger W because FanDuel's giving you a profit boost for all tonight's action. Don't just be a spectator this postseason. Head to FanDuel.com/mismatch to download America's #1 sportsbook and make every moment more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Remember, you must be 21 or over and present in select states, or 18 or over and present in D.C. Opt-in required. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Can you see the Pistons coming back after the refs stole Game 4?
Did you think that was a foul?
I did think it was a foul, but I mean, I got it.
When you watched it live speed, I watched it live speed, I did not think it was a foul. When
I thought it was a foul just because JB Bickerstaff was at half court by the time
losing his mind.
by the time they were trying to get people off the court.
There's a Knicks assistant coach who's like, "Whoa, dude!" Like, whoa.
No, he was at midcourt, screaming. No, in all seriousness, it was a bad call for sure, but that was such a physical, hard-fought game. And the crazy thing is to watch both the Lakers and the Wolves and then watch the Knicks and that Pistons game, and then to think even how things have changed over the course of these series. You and I had this discussion about the Brunson foul baiting, and it's because Cade was getting every little bump call, so now Brunson's gonna overact and get on this way. And then you watch. By the time you get to this game, nothing's getting called. Like nothing. These guys are mangling each other. It's just warfare, and I loved it. And so the fact that didn't get called at the end was unsurprising to me because it's like guys are flying around everywhere. And I mean, it's just not. And the other thing is, they blew a double-digit lead. The Knicks made every big play down the stretch, winning plays down the stretch, and Cade had a chance to win that game, right? So I got it. It's Tim Hardaway in the corner. Does heart bump him for sure? Obviously, the refs have said that. But on the other hand, I don't think it is. I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world, and I think that what we have seen out of Brunson and Towns is because Brunson had 32 and 11, Towns had 27 and 9. The defense I thought Detroit played was incredible, and it just that just speaks to how offensively off the charts brilliant those two guys were, because I did not think that Detroit was defensively deficient. These shots that they were making were just crazy over and over again.
Insane. I just don't understand this. How does Jalen Brunson not be able to put weight on his ankle?
I know.
How does he goes to the back and comes out and then he's like jab stepping, crossing over and finishing? Like, how do you not be able to put weight on the ankle and play like that in the fourth quarter without a limp?
I mean, it had to have been a painkiller.
Whatever, Toradol, whatever it is,
some kind of shot.
But I'm just shocked by that. He could not stand.
Oh, I know. And
he couldn't stand. It wasn't like, I rolled my ankle. Let me just lace up the sneakers a little tighter and I'll be okay.
And he
couldn't stand.
And he has just been so great. And between him and Towns, I was reading today that those two have scored 33 of the Knicks' 37 clutch points. They're 11 for 16 on those shots.
Oh, jeez. Well, Brunson, remember on the inbound, Brunson was wide open. He missed a big one at the end of that game.
Yeah, he did.
He missed a big one. And I also think it's worth pointing out that Cade missed a big one. Cade had a good shot.
Yes.
He had a good shot.
He had a good look. And look, makes it difficult because, in a dream scenario, you've got Isar Thompson out there on him, or Ron Holland, or who one of these guys are so offensively deficient that they can't play him, so they have to put Schroeder out there, and he cooks Schroeder, boy. Oh man, he wears Schroeder out, and it's I mean, one of the things we thought was, hey man, you're gonna have like one of these long athletic guys might give the smaller point guard a problem, but instead he's just up against another little small guy and he's killing him.
I mean, when you have Jalen Brunson, you have a shot. When you have Jalen Brunson, you have a shot.
Well, and the other thing is you had the big threes by Bridges from the corners.
Yep.
And then when we talk about winning plays, I know he fouled. I mean, my God, the dude does literally everything. He does everything. Everything. How is he always in the mix of everything that is happening? It's crazy.
His no counting stats, like none.
Oh, yes, none. He does. Dude, 14, 10, 5 assists, 4 steals.
Ooh. And hitting threes. They're leaving him alone. I think it was 3 for 5 from 3. I'm just doing it on top of my head.
No. But that was it.
Like
I'm just saying that was the game 5 stats. But I mean, it's just a little of everything.
Yeah, but he's hitting, and they're leaving him open for 3, and he hit him.
Yeah,
he hit him, and that changes everything. When the guy you leave open is hitting, you kind of don't have somewhere else to go, especially with that starting 5 the Knicks have.
I feel bad for my Detroit fans, though. I do because they went back. No, they went back home, and it's like, bro, they didn't get to, after 17 years, they didn't get to see a home playoff win, right? The only game they won, it might end with their one win being on the road.
But they could have swept the Knicks.
I know.
They had a lead in every single game.
All right.
In the fourth quarter.
Let's go back to our original conversation, right? And this is the Rockets versus the Warriors. And I've been on that side over and over and over. And it could have been this, and it could have been that, and it could have been this, and it could have been that. And these things always come down to a couple plays, and the vet team makes the winning plays. And you don't. And you sit there and you wonder why. Oh, if we'd have just had our free throws, and if we'd have just done this, and we'd just done this. And it's like every time. This happens every year. And it's like, you have a team like this. The Pistons could, as you say, they could
have swept.
They could certainly be reversed right now and be up 3-1 instead of down 3.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes. If this would happen, this would happen, and this would happen. But that's why it doesn't happen, right?
But you watch the Heat and the Cavs, and you're like, the Heat have no chance. It's not even competitive. But you watch the Pistons and the Knicks, and it's 3-1. But this is a different 3-1 than the Magic and the Celtics.
Same with the Rockets. Rockets could be up right now.
Oh, yeah.
They could be up in that series right now.
Easily.
Right?
So, Verno, you mentioned this about the young teams and the veteran teams that are making plays.
Yep.
And your team was matched up against the Oklahoma City Thunder,
right?
Who you have labeled as a young team
and
doesn't have scars. You've mentioned this many times.
Well,
and are you willing to say into a microphone that they will lose to either the Nuggets or the Clippers in the second round?
I think that's very possible.
No. I didn't ask if it was possible.
Well, you ask me this every time, and I do think the Clippers would beat them.
Nuggets?
Maybe.
It's tough. It's tough with Westbrook out and MPJ hobbled. It's just tough.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'll tell you this. I gained some respect for MPJ in that last game. That Joker he did get shot up before the game and played 42 minutes and hit some big shots and was that outlet valve that they had to have. And obviously, look, that series is the best. It's that Gordon game winner. Oh, very rarely. I don't have a rooting interest in that. Whoever comes out of it, comes out of it. I just want great hoops, and they have given me amazing hoops. Because there was part of me as I was watching it, the end of the game, because it all becomes Gordon and the game winner and that discourse. And it's somehow we have gotten used to 36, 21, and 8. Nobody has made a big deal out of the fact that Jokic, anyone else in the world, can you imagine if somebody, if Şengün did that tonight, it would be the biggest topic everywhere. It would be the most amazing thing that's happened. Oh my God. He had 36, 21, and 8. We'd be talking about it, and everybody would be talking about it. And it's oh yeah, and Jokic had 36, 21, and 8. What? How is this a normal thing that could take place?
I think that's one thing that's funny about this game is there's so much discussion about Aaron Gordon winning the game that it almost feels like the Nuggets sort of rallied back from some deficit.
Oh, I know.
But they were up 85-65. The Nuggets completely shit the bed in this game. They really did.
It was hold on, I've got it here.
It was 85-65 in the third.
Okay. Well, they were down 22 with 11 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then they were up 1 with 58 seconds left. So I mean, that's
it's the Nuggets really
collapse.
shit the bed in this one. They really did. This was a Nuggets victory. I chalked this up as a Nuggets win. I was just like, oh, this is all right, Nuggets. All right, even the series. You'll see what happens in game 5. But the way the Clippers battled back was discouraging if you're a Nuggets supporter.
Well,
discouraging.
But now you have gotten home court back. I mean, they're going to have to beat Jokic on his home court.
Yeah.
It's very, very significant, obviously, with the way that played out. They were able to hold on. But you're right. The 2 Denver wins, same way that you were just talking about, right? Like we were saying, like these things, like the margins are so thin that the Pistons and the Knicks could be a totally different series, and the Wolves and the Lakers maybe could be a different series, and the Rockets and the Warriors could be a different series. A couple things here and there. Like, this could very easily be a sweep.
Hell yeah.
Like, the Clippers should be done with them, but they're not done with them.
No.
So that gives you a little cause for pause on this, I think, because it's like, all right, why are you not done with them? Like, how have they done this? You're sitting there 2-2, and they've got home court back.
So if you are the Oklahoma City Thunder, team that you hate, fan base that you hate, city that you hate.
No, that's not true. I don't hate them.
I know you do. Which team do you want to face in the second round?
I would rather face. I would rather
want to face the Nuggets. I think you want to face the Nuggets. Yes. I think that says a lot about them and about which team is ultimately, objectively a better team. I think the Clippers are a better team.
They also don't have a natural SGA. This is the same thing when I was talking about when we were talking about the playoffs, and I was like, when we were talking about who would you want to face. And one of the teams that you threw at me was, it was like the play-in was coming up. And it was like, would you rather play the Warriors or the Clippers? And I was like, the Warriors 100 times out of 100. And that was a highly competitive game that Curry hit. But because they don't have a natural Morant,
defender.
Defender. Moody is what they threw on him. Whereas the Clippers have 10. Like, literally, they just reach into their bench and they can find another guy. So that's the thing I would say, and that's the other thing. The whole thing that makes the engine go with Oklahoma City is Gilgeous-Alexander. There's not the natural matchup to make his life more difficult if you are Denver. They don't have that. Their defense is not,
No,
They don't have that. They don't have that
Christian
perimeter.
Brown?
Right.
I think that's the guy, right?
I mean, you might have to get away with Gordon. I mean, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do.
Gordon can't stay in front of
dude, nobody on their team can. And what I'm saying is the Clippers at least have guys they could do it with. Right?
Oh, they got 4 guys they can throw at them.
And so that's
it's 5.
That's the issue. Yes, if I'm Oklahoma City, I want Denver to win.
Yes, I think so too. And I think that tells you sort of like who objectively is the better, deeper team. The Clippers are just deeper.
They also have a coaching staff that hasn't been fired in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, good
so that's helpful. All right, the other one that we have not mentioned is Orlando and Boston, which I'll give Orlando, like, I think this is good for them. You scoff at the playoff scars thing, but I do think that this is super instructive for Paolo and Anthony Black and Franz and all those guys to go through it, to feel it, to see what a big playoff environment is like against the best team in their conference. And I also think you come out of it going, bro, all we got to do is build around Paolo. No, just
Paolo's had himself a series.
If we build out around him, like we've got, like the hardest thing in the league to get is the guy, right?
They got the guy.
We've got the guy. Now we've just got to build out around him.
They just need to shoot. I mean, I think it's been interesting. I told you they'd win a game because in game 1, in the first half, they've been in every game, right? Like they've been at halftime in every game. It's been like a 4-point game.
Yep.
Pretty much every game across the board.
Yep.
It hasn't been like the Cavs Heat series, but just blowouts, or the Grizzlies Thunder series.
They're just offensively deficient.
Orlando's been there. It's just they just don't. I mean, they're missing Suggs obviously, and the KCP that they acquired and the KCP that they have are 2 completely different people. Like,
I mean, Part of
it's
that.
Just
part of
it's
that.
Just can't hit.
Part of that is you're always going to look better. You're always going to look better when you're not counted on, when you're fourth or fifth option. And, we see this every year. Like guys that play alongside these generational superstars, and then we see them elsewhere, and it's like, oh. Like for years, you would watch, Jonathan Simmons or Bryn Forbes or like all these Spurs, and then they would go somewhere else and be like, oh, well, that's not what I thought that was. I mean, you were just bringing up Andrew Wiggins. It's like, yeah, okay, Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins was like the second most important player on their finals team.
Run.
And it's like, now he's, it doesn't look the same, right?
No.
It don't look the same next Tyler Hero as it does next to Steph Curry, right? And so I think there's partly, you've always got to be a little wary of the role players. Like, you know who my favorite role player on that Nuggets championship team was?
Bruce Brown.
Like the only thing I've seen him do since is wear a cowboy hat.
Yes.
Honestly, I swear to God, the only thing I've seen him do is wear a cowboy hat. I can't remember one other thing that's happened.
Well,
such is life. Got to be wary of that. But anyway, do you watch the Celtics and think your Knicks have a chance when you watch them?
Well, listen, I saw Jason Tatum missed a game, and Jalen Brown is always listed as questionable, and Drew
Holiday's been out.
Drew Holiday's not playing.
Yeah.
I don't think full strength the Knicks can beat the Celtics in a 7-game series, but if you take away one of those players, one of those variables, and the 3-point shooting variance, I think the Knicks have a shot. I would not pick them to win the series, but they've got a puncher's chance.
Is it fair to say you're feeling better about it now than you did a month ago?
No.
Yes, you do.
Well, a month ago,
you gave them 0%
Brunson was hurt
chance.
A month ago. But I just think I don't know what's going on with Brunson's ankle. Like the dude couldn't stand.
Bro, he just came out.
They tried to help him up. And he could not stand.
You saw him in that fourth quarter.
And then he scored 11 points in the fourth quarter.
You score maybe
whatever they're giving him, they're going to need to keep giving it to him, because I just don't understand it medically, what is going on. How does it work?
He seemed to be fine to me.
How does it work? The same thing happened with Ja. Remember when Ja in the Bay in the playing game? Send him back there, get shot up with whatever. Next thing you know, you're jumping off 2 feet. Like what?
Back. No, like shoot.
It can't be good for you. It can't be good for your body.
I don't think they want to report it.
But to shut off the nerve endings that transmit pain to your brain and run on that anyway cannot be good for your body. It can't be.
I agree.
It can't be. So I'm a little concerned about that. As a Knicks fan, I'm a little concerned about the fact that our best player couldn't put weight on his foot in the middle of the game.
There's no way that Joe Mazzulla would let them shoot anybody up with anything. He didn't even want Porzingis to have a Band-Aid.
No. So, you see, they asked Mazzulla, they're like, what do you think about the physicality in the series? He's like, no one got arrested? And he asked it a question, like, did anyone get arrested? There hasn't been any arrests yet, right? He's such a psycho.
He really is. I gotta like it though. I like characters.
I'm a little tired of the word physicality.
Character.
Aren't you tired of the word physicality in the playoffs? It's just this is playoff basketball. It's different.
Yeah, but I like that it's been different.
I like it too.
It's getting super chippy too. Super chippy.
We haven't even mentioned Aaron Gordon and James Harden
could have gotten thrown out of
the
game.
End of the half.
That guy that hit the game winner could have gotten chucked.
Could have gotten that. And as we mentioned, they don't have anybody. If Aaron Gordon's out, I don't even know who takes his minutes. Strother? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even know who they put in. They don't have any other options.
All right. So of all the 3-1s that we have right now, so I like the Clippers. You like the Clippers to come out of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Of the 3-1s that we have, Knicks are up 3-1. Lakers are up 3-1. Warriors are up 3-1. I'm sorry. Wolves are up 3-1. Warriors are up 3-1. All right, how about this? I won't even say that look, I got it. It's a 96% chance that the 3-1 team wins.
Sure.
Is there, if one of those series was going to go to 7 games, if we got a game 7 out of one of the series, which do you think is most likely for that to be the case? Because we got 3-1, so that would just mean you win the next 2 games.
Lakers. I think the Lakers and the Rockets have the best chance because they're going home for Game 5.
Okay.
I think that makes a big difference. And the Rockets tonight.
So you would suspect that the Knicks close it out in 5.
I suspect the Knicks. Okay. Yeah. But I would say,
the
Lakers.
We didn't even throw. By the way, no disrespect, even though we disrespected them. The Bucks are down 3-1 as well.
Oh no! I mean, that's if you're Giannis, you're gone, right?
I mean, I don't know.
Come on, you're gone. I mean, you have to be gone. They have no picks.
There's
they have no way young players.
It's very hard to foresee a circumstance where you could have a good team.
I think Giannis is gone. He's already laid breadcrumbs out for the past 3 off seasons that he wants to compete, that he wants another championship. He's hinted at this before. I think Giannis is gone.
I think I kind of feel like Houston.
Really?
Is not dead yet. Yeah. I kind of feel that way, but because look, I've seen several different iterations of that Warriors team. If they don't show up like full on for Game 5, it wouldn't be that shocking. Famously, Memphis beat them by like 50 and did whoop that trick and whatever, then turned around and got their ass kicked in Game 6, which was a close game until the 4th quarter. But I could kind of see that where it's like they're okay with winning it in 6, and then you get caught. You can get caught, right? So
yes,
I would say, and then they would win Game 7 on the road in Houston. But I mean, I think that, right? I do think that they're one that could play with their food. I think the other ones, there's going to kind of be more of a back against the wall mentality. We've got to get this done. We got to take care of business, whatever. Like that Warriors team, there is their 2 major guys have done it so many times that it's not, it's not life or death psychologically with them.
They figured something out against Curry tonight. Yeah. They limited Steph Curry. Yes. And I thought Podziemski played so good. Like, he won them the game. He didn't really perform down the stretch, right, but he won them the game.
Oh, hell yeah. It's always the guys that are not the guys, right? We talk about this every year. This is going to be a fun week for sure, because I will say this first round has been incredible. Like, of course we're going to get duds when you get this many series. You're going to get duds. But by and large, I have been wildly entertained. And
you know what I love? I love all of the jawing,
yes,
and the pushing, and the texts, and the offsetting texts, and the Clippers and the Nuggets are getting into it, and the Pacers and the Bucks are getting into it, and tonight Dylan Brooks and Jimmy Butler are getting into it. The Pistons and Karl Anthony Towns is acting like a tough guy. Like, I just think every series has a little bit of that edge and that animosity that I've really enjoyed.
You need the animosity because then you have the moments that then you're right. Then we can get some rivalries because we've missed that. We've missed these teams having rivalries with each other. So you need to have some stuff happen for them to create those things.
I'm just excited to stop talking about whether or not 100 dudes could beat up a gorilla. You know what I mean?
You've been talking about that a lot?
It's just all over my timeline. It's just, I don't even know how we got here as a society. I really don't.
Somebody brought it up, and everybody was like,
really don't know how we got here. Well, I mean, it's like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Like, I don't know why this is taking over the discourse right now.
Is the dress blue or whatever, right? Yeah, I think
exactly. It's
one of those things that takes hold. People would rather, you know what? It's a lot more lighthearted than most of the stuff people talk about. So I'll take it.
Yes.
I'll take the gorilla.
I'll
take the gorilla conversation.
I'll beat up the gorilla. Sure. Yeah. Whatever. I'll sacrifice myself.
This is going to be a fun week for sure. We will reconvene on Thursday night after Game 6 of that Clippers Nuggets.
Clippers. Oh,
series.
yeah. That'll be a good
that'll
one.
be great. That'll be the one that we're getting
That'll
to
be
do
a
the
good
show
one.
right after. Thank you to our executive producer, Jesse Lopez, as always. And Jacoby, I'll talk to you later this week.
Must be 21 and over in present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and over and present in D.C. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.